Hello, I'm Parveen the Spice Queen, and I want to wish you all a very, very happy Diwali. I know things are not as you would like them to be, but remember, if you can't be with the ones you love, love the ones you're with. I know it's a bit cliche, but I love cliches because they're true. For me, food is all about, well, sort of festivals are all about food and family. So even though we have extended families around, we can treat ourselves and make something really, really delicious. So from Safeco and the team and myself, a very happy Diwali. And I'm going to celebrate by teaching you how to make jalebi. I love jalebi. So look at this. Beautiful orange. I've topped it in pistachio and a little bit of glitter because I do like a little bit of bling. It is. Indian food is just so much, we have such a vibrancy in our culture. So we have polarity of food. We have the sweet is extremely sweet, the sour is very sour, and the chili is very chili. So there's a huge polarity of flavors. So let's get on straight with the recipe. So this is my recipe for jalebi. It's quick, it's simple, it's incredibly easy actually, and I really do hope you try it. The first thing you need to do is make the syrup, which is a jas or a sauce. So all we need is obviously sugar. So here I have 1 cup of sugar, it's about 150 grams. In that goes into a nice pan. Then with that, half a cup of water. It does seem a lot, but that's just to coat the outside of the jalebi. And then what you want to do is add some lemon juice. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Fresh lemon is always best. And what that does is that stops the actual crystals crystallizing when the sugar syrup cools down. The acidity helps to, well, yeah, keep it nice and flowy and sweet. Okay, so that's lemon juice. And then I'm going to add some cardamom pods. All you have to do is give them a little bash or a little squeeze and add them in, or you can just chop them and add them in, and that gives really nice flavour. I think I think probably 99% of Asian sweets, desserts have cardamom in them. I'm going to bring that to the boil. But a couple of things I want to mention is I'm going to add a bit of saffron. It is Diwali and it's celebration, so add a few strands of saffron, and that gives the syrup a lovely golden colour. And then I want to talk to you about cardamom. So I bought some ready-made cardamom, and it's easy. You just add the cardamom to the syrup and you get this beautiful sweet syrup. But I think it makes it slightly grainy, and I don't want a grainy syrup. I want a really smooth, silky syrup. Okay, so bring that to the boil, and that takes a matter of seconds to bring to the boil. And this is the sugar syrup in which we're going to dip our jalebi. And this is part one. So give that a stir, and you'll find that comes together quite quickly. It's melting very quickly there, and it comes together. And what you want to do is bring that to the boil and simmer it for about 10 to 15 minutes. So just to speed things up a little bit, here's what I made earlier. Okay, so with this syrup, heat it through. It's just, what you are looking for is, if I just show you quickly, you want like, it sort of springs like a strand. If you've got like a strand and it's springy, that's what you're looking for. Delicious. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. In about 10 minutes, you'll have a syrup that has that kind of consistency. We're going to put that aside, and then what I want to do is actually want to get on with the second part of the recipe, which is the actual batter. So I'll see you in part two. Put the kettle on, have a cup of tea, and I'll see you later. Hello everybody, and welcome back to part two of my recipe for jalebi making. Okay, so we've made the jas now, and now is the batter. You'll be surprised how incredibly easy it actually is. Okay, so in my bowl here, I've got just 1 cup of regular plain flour. That's about 150 grams of flour. Then to that, I'm going to add some yogurt, 4 tablespoons of yogurt. Now don't worry if you're not getting this recipe down as I'm cooking it, because I will be putting the recipe below the video blog. 4 tablespoons of plain yogurt. Into that, I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of baking powder and 2 tablespoons of corn flour. The corn flour sort of helps it sort of come together and sort of behaves like a glue, makes it quite springy, and the baking powder obviously just fluffs it up a tiny bit. Then we've got that beautiful colouring that we all associate with jalebi, and I'm sorry to say it is just food colouring. You can use about 1/4 teaspoon of food colouring, and if you want it sort of brighter, go brighter. It's entirely up to you. Then all I need to do now is mix ingredients. Now, some recipes call for you mixing the yogurt with the flour and just making a batter, then adding the water. But I just think it's easier just to go straight in and add the water. We're going to add 150 ml of water to this flour. That's about most of what I've got in that jug. And then it comes together, as you can see, quite quickly. Be very careful. In the first instance, just swirl it round, fold it very carefully. I mean, who cooks an outfit like this? But I thought it's Diwali, so I thought I'd dress up for you. So I don't want to get any splashes on my outfit. So what I'm looking for is a thick, like a custard-like consistency. And what I want to do is, once the batter comes together, I'm going to let it rest for 10 minutes and it will become smoother. What you don't want to do is you don't want any lumps in this. Okay, so once I've brought the batter together like that, what I'm going to do is use a whisk. If you want to have a blender and a hand whisk, entirely up to you, electrical whisk, you can use that. I just like to use my hands because I like to make sure I want to feel the consistency. Plus, I just think it's really good for your bingo wings. Okay, so in it goes. Just be quite robust. Just give it some welly, get it in there. And that beautiful, beautiful, it looks quite yellow at the moment, but when we fry it, it'll go golden orange. Look at that. That was really quick. Give it another sort of minute or two whisking like that. I'm going to put the heat on my pan while I talk that through to you with you. So that's it. Look at that. That was easy. So that was flour, yogurt, baking powder, corn flour, and some colouring. And that's all that is in a jalebi batter. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. So just cover that, set that aside for 10 minutes, let it come together, and it'll be lovely and smooth. And what you're going to get afterwards is you want the batter to be smooth because we want crispy jalebi, and I'm going to add it into the bottle. So you get these squeezy bottles. If you don't have a squeezy bottle like this, like Chef bottle, my husband made it, it saves the mayonnaise bottles, you can just put it in there. And all you want to do is make sure that you can make swirls in the oil for the jalebi. Put that aside. Okay, and then we're going to get on with the frying. And I have to tell you, with practicing this recipe a couple of times, making the batter was quite easy. The hardest thing for me was actually doing the frying. It takes a little bit of practice. Okay, so I'll move the oil to the front so I can show you. And then I've got my syrup here to put it straight onto syrup, and then I'm going to add it straight to my plate and decorate. Okay, so oil nice and hot, and the way you can test the oil is just add a few drops and see if they come to the surface quickly. So just add a few drops. Okay, that's a bit cold, so we need a couple of more minutes for that to heat up. Turn the heating on high. Okay, brilliant. So if you've never made jalebi before and you love the flavour and love the taste and think, oh my goodness, it's so fattening and it's so decadent, actually it's surprisingly not. Apart from the flour which we fry, of course, we have the syrup, but all that syrup, that 1 cup of sugar is going to coat about 20 to 30 pieces of jalebi. So you sort of prorate it down, it's like having a cup of tea, is like having a teaspoon of sugar in your tea, so you can go for it. Okay, so I'm happy with that temperature now. Give it a couple of minutes and we can see it sizzling. Okay, so we see it sizzling, so I know it's the right temperature. If the oil's too hot, the jalebi will sink to the bottom. If the oil's too cold, it will just disperse and not fry properly. Okay, ready for this. Now, as I said, the hardest part of making the jalebi is this bit. So bear with me and be kind if I don't get it right either. What we'll need to do is make little swirls. So in my bottle, hold it exactly parallel to the oil and hold it directly above the oil to get the swirl. Are you ready? Wish me luck. In I go. Swirls, small swirls. There we go. That's probably the best jalebi I've ever made. Okay, so let that fry. As you can see, it comes to the top. And what I want to do is fry it for about 1 to 1.5 minutes on this side, and then turn it over on the other side and fry for about 1 to 1.5 minutes. It's actually not that long. Okay, give them a little push around. Okay, and as I said earlier, when you are frying, you don't need to use a deep wok like you would with samosa or onion bhajis or pakore. You need to have a flat pan so they come to the top quite quickly. And then what we have to do is disperse them immediately in the syrup. Now that is another question. People always ask how long does it have to stay in the syrup? There are some recipes that say 10 to 15 minutes. Some say 5. I literally just leave them in there for 2 minutes, let them soak the syrup, and I'm happy with that. Okay, so they're done. Turn them over. And if I show you how quickly they crisp up, if I hold it, once it's crisp on that side, I'll show you, I'll hold them up and show you how crispy they are. Look at that, lovely. Okay, then what I'm going to do, I've got my beautiful plate here, as it's Diwali, and I'm going to decorate them. It's entirely up to you if you want to use pistachio as a decoration. I think it looks beautiful, and I'm a fan of pistachio. But then I'm also a fan of this stuff here, which is edible glitter, and I'm going to add that on the top. I shall take a picture and put it on the vlog, so you can have a look. Okay, so that's about 1 minute. I have to keep talking for a minute, but I should be used to that. Turn them over again. Give them another 30 seconds on that side. And what I'm going to do is, while they're soaking this, I'm going to fry another lot. I'm going to try and get creative, so keep up. So what I want to show you is the syrup has cooled down now and it's slightly thicker. So with the jalebi, it goes straight from the frying pan into the syrup. I'm sure that's a saying. No, it's into the frying pan, into the fire, isn't it? In they go. And as I said, you need a nice warm syrup, and that will soak up. So that will soak up into the juicy jalebi, and that's what gives that lovely flavour. Right, I'm going to get a bit creative here. Bear with me. Let's see if I can do the chains that you have. The Jalis. You ready? Look, I think you must be giving me good luck, because actually they've never come out that well before. When I've gone to festivals and I've gone to parties, in fact the very first time I had this was in Hong Kong, and the halwai, who is a pastry chef, an Indian pastry chef, came to the table and served it for us. I was so impressed. So if you want to impress your friends, then this is what you do at the dining table. Just bring your little wok and just do it. Okay, so these are I've made whole strings, and I'm happy with those. My husband's going to be really impressed. He loves jalebi. He likes to have it with, in the evening he has it with warm milk with a spoon. That's how we grew up. Okay, so that jalebi is ready now. I'm going to put those straight onto my plate. Shake off the syrup. Wonderful. So as I said before, if you've never tried the recipe and you think, gosh, it always looks so complicated, you see the professionals make it. I've been trying this for the last week or so. I haven't made it before that. I thought I'd give it a go, show you how to make jalebi. And actually, I have to say, I'm a little bit impressed with myself. I'm not a pastry chef, I'm not a baker. So the hardest part is actually getting this bit right. Once you've got this bit right, you're good to go. Okay, fry them for another minute on either side, and then I'm going to dip them in my syrup. Smells delicious. So a couple of things just before I leave you is, if you've got friends that are gluten-free and you want to make this recipe jalebi, you can substitute the flour for gluten-free flour. But what I did a couple of days ago with my friend who is a celiac is I used semolina, corn flour, and I use besan, which is chickpea flour, and then they're also gluten-free. If you want to experiment and be more decadent, then you can add more cinnamon and cardamom. You can add rose water into the syrup, so you can experiment once you get the basic recipe right. Okay, but look at that. Yay, look at that. I'm impressed. In there, give it a soak. Like I said, I don't like to soak it more than just a couple of minutes. But nice warm hot syrup. Switch that off. Okay, switch that off, and then I'm going to decorate for you, and I'll show you my recipe. Looks so good for Diwali. You can hear the crispiness. I think they call them jali, which actually means like a chain or a lace. It looks like a lace. Oh wow! Do you know what? I have not had any dinner. I'm going to be so decadent. I'm going to have just jalebi with a cup of tea, and that's my dinner. That's my beautiful jalebi. All I'm going to do is now decorate it with some crushed pistachio. Just add your pistachios into a bag and give them a good bash. That's beautiful. Look at that. And then using the back of my spoon, I'm going to come over to the camera and show you this. This is edible glitter. Are you ready, guys? Look at that. Now you can get gold leaf. Look at that. Beautiful, shining, golden glitter on my jalebi. So, there's only one thing left for me to do. Yes, taste the taste test. This is it's crunchy on the outside, it's syrupy in the middle. I can taste that very hint of saffron and cardamom, and plus you get a sugar hit. You really do get a sugar hit. Like I said, it's sweet, it's tasty, it's for festivals. This is my recipe for jalebi for Diwali. Happy Diwali, everybody, and stay safe.